in our chairs or sofas, whatever we are comfortable right now. Start make your mind and your thoughts be empty, just bringing the good vibrations around you. Just putting ourselves on a peace mode, on a reflection mode, trying to connect with the spiritual world, connecting with the healers that are around us, the spirits that are in need, the spirits that are there to teach us something, and try to open our heart, our minds, to learn something from these Jesus lessons. First, also, I want to thank the presence of all of you here, and of course, the presence of the spiritual world here with us. Their presence, they're gonna help us to listen more to these worlds. And that you have a nice, enjoyable lecture. And so be it. Today we're gonna
Lolo, sorry, before you started.
Oh, start. Okay, I forgot that.
I just want to tell Mark, because Luisa knows already. So Mark, in case you want to put like a glass of water on the side, you know, I don't know if you do this, but it just remind you to do it. Okay, great. So, okay, let's start it.
Every time.
Every time. Great.
All right, so continue with the chapter 25th, Seek and You Shall Find. We're gonna talk a little bit of the observe the birds in the sky. That's gonna be item 6 to 8. Just one comment, when I was reading this part of the chapter, of course, we know that all these subjects are old subjects, that it can be, and it became so modern, so actual, that that we always related like how human beings have been going through the same problems, through the same involvement. But this one, it really impressed me, because I think now through this pandemic, you guys gonna understand better when I start talking about the chapter. But during this pandemic, I think this subject, it is what the best describe of how human being could and can reflect how our behavior can be, and how can we improve, how can you become better people. So on the Jesus lessons, he says, do not accumulate treasures on the earth, where rust and worms corrupt them, and where thieves unbury and steal them. Create treasures in heaven, where neither rust nor worms corrupt. For whatever your treasure is, there is your heart also. Observe the birds in the sky. Means they neither sow nor reap, nor do they store anything in barns. But your heavenly Father feeds them. They neither work nor spin. Nevertheless, I declare to you that Solomon himself, in all his glory, was never dressed like one of them. So basically, just to start here, when it says, observe the lilies of the field and observe the birds in the sky, here he wants to bring us how we will not give value to these simple things in life, like observing the birds in the sky, the lilies in the field, what God gave to us appreciate, to be appreciative, and how the nature are blessings to us, and then like everything else is a plus. Like, but we can just live with these basic things that God created us, and Jesus came here to amplify that. Like, we should give more value to these simple things of life. And like I said, this is you can relate so much we what's going on right now through this pandemic, because we are having, like, I believe the universe are giving us this time for us to be more appreciative of things that, like, you cannot buy. For example, the time you've been spending with your family, the time, like, you've been, spending, even that is just, like, through the internet, through your friends and everything else. But here he wants to show us that, like, once you give more value to these simple things in life, the material things, it becomes superfluous. So it's something that, yes, we need to work to pay our bills, we need to work to pay our food, but at the same time, why we have to be so greedy, why you have to always want to have more material things instead to have more value into the moral importance of the things that we are surrounded. The treasures of earth are not need of the superfluous, like I mentioned. They're never content without what we have, like they, it means human beings, it means like us. We are never happy with the things we are surrounded. We always want more, 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 and you never give value with what we have already. The necessities that are not enough for them means us, like it's never enough. Anything never enough for us. Also, we are insatiable on our desires. But the treasures of earth are the virtues that, like, it comes to us, like, for free. The practice of charity, which is something that you can create on us, you can work on us and be more charitable. The intelligence and knowledge that we are born with that, and then we can develop things with our intelligence and knowledge. That's why you're never gonna be out of anything to survive. If God gives things in nature and then we cannot reach it, but, like, they're gonna give the intelligence and the knowledge for us to reach things, the essentials for our life. And the action of good, we always have to go to the good side, or try always to see the good side of situations, of, like, people, of things that happens to us, to others. And whatever treasure is, there is your heart is, which means, sorry, here is wrong, I wrote it wrong. Is whatever your treasure is where your heart is, which means that our attention, feeling, and interest is hold on to which constitutes our greatest concerns. And if this lesson wouldn't be a stimulus to commodities, like, okay, so if God is giving the nature, and then you can explore the nature to have whatever I need, this means that I'm gonna be into the commodities state? No. It means that Jesus used a poetic allegory, as he always used, to talk to people. But it really means that we have to look for the moral. And we should not give more importance to material possessions than the spiritual virtues. And it Jesus and God, they gave us the know-how to sacrifice the former on behalf of the latter. Another question, is faith enough to provide our necessities as food? Sorry? Oh, okay. Is faith enough to provide our necessities as food, clothing, and etc.? The providence never abandons those who put their trust in it. In a figurative way, it's not only trusting God that that God's gonna, show up, knocking our door and giving us food and whatever we need. But if you do your part, if you go and work, you do things that not gonna cause any damage to anybody, and then you're doing your work every day, of course eventually your food is gonna be at your table, your bills gonna be paid, and let the rest to the universe provide you. You have to trust on God, because God gives the same opportunities to everyone. But for some people it's a little bit more testy. Some people can look easier. But studying Spiritism, that it's not only the present day but also the past that counts as well. But for this life, while you're doing your part, for sure you're gonna receive somehow back. Also, he says, which wills that they work alongside. And if providence doesn't always come to them with material help, it inspires them with ideas. Remember when he says knowledge, when he says that give you the knowledge, the ideas, with which they may find the means of freeing themselves from their difficulty. So do not be anxious about what to eat nor dress. It is not denying the providence, it is not denying the work, it is not denying the progress. But the consequences are the inactivity and the regress and the primitives. So don't be anxious with things that you imagine to be not solvable. Don't be anxious with things that you cannot solve now. We have to trust, otherwise more you think of things that you're not able to solve right now, with more anxious you get when you don't have the patience to wait. That can cause you a lot of bad thoughts, that can cause you to be an involved person and not to progress. We come to this earth to progress, to evolve. And once you feed the anxiety, you feed the expectations, you feed to expect and not enjoying the moment right now, more you are downgrading ourselves. Also, do not be anxious about what to eat nor dress. What it really means, be happy with what we have. That is a temporary surplus, and do not complain the superfluous. And the consequences would be food for all in the planet, and fraternity among people, and on earth, in the earth, will produce enough to feed all its inhabitants. When, according to the laws of justice, charity, and love for one's neighbor, people know how to manage the provisions it gives to them. Now, the contribution from the Spiritist, it says that charity and fraternity are not decreed by law. If they are not in the heart, selfishness will always stifle them. And it is labor of spiritists to enable them to enter the heart. Now, I want just to read two questions of the Spiritist book that is from the subject, the means of preservation, that is related to this subject. The question number is 704, which says, since God has given human beings the need to stay alive, does God always provide them with the means of doing so? The answer, yes. And if they do not find them, it is because they do not understand them. God could not have given humans the need to stay alive without also having given them the means. So God is always giving us and showing us the ways. It's up to us to be calm, to not be anxious, and trust, so then you can listen to ourselves, be good to ourselves, and follow the best path for us. Hence, the Creator has caused the earth to produce in such a way as to provide for the needs of all its inhabitants, for only that which is necessary is useful. So most of the time, we are able to reach what is necessary and useful, but like human beings, you can be selfish, you can be greedy, and you always want more, and more, and you end up forgetting to give value to what we have. And the superfluous never is. Another question, 705. Why doesn't the earth always produce enough to provide for humans' needs? Answer, since they are ungrateful, they neglect her. Nevertheless, she is an excellent mother. Frequently, they blame nature for the consequences of their own incompetence or lack of foresight. The earth would always produce what is needed if humans knew how to be content. Also, like if you think about it here, how much food we throw out, how much, things that a lot of people are in need, we throw out because, we can be selfish or we buy more than we actually need, right? Let's think about it. And if she does not supply all their needs, it is because they use her to provide themselves with superfluities instead of necessities. Look at the nomads in the desert. They always find enough to live on because they do not create imaginary needs. But when half of all that is produced is wasted on satisfying fanciful desires, should people wonder at finding nothing the next day and have a reason to pity themselves at being deprived in times of scarcity? In truth, I tell you that nature does not lack foresight. Rather, people do not know how to control themselves. So again, it's not wrong when we want something more, but just think about it if you're already enjoying what we have. Because buying things, buying stuff, buying moments, it's not gonna make you happier if you're not happy inside. So it's not the material things that are gonna make you a better person, or a better person, not only morally, but materially, if you don't find that in yourself before. So everything starts from the inside. So let's stop and thinking of everything what we have, put, and balance it, and then put that as a priority, and then make that as the first main importance in your life, and not give material and superfluous things more value than the society already weighed in. Society put the weight on it. And like I said in the beginning, I think right now it's it is a time for us to reflect about it, because Not being able to go to like stores, to malls, to restaurants, to traveling, it's when we start and think that if it's how many times we spend unnecessary money, if you could, you know, be at home enjoying ourselves, enjoying the people we love, the people that we are around us, but like we always wanted to go places or to buy things just to fulfill us. But if you think about it, it's only material things. Once like you can fulfill much better when it's more like when you fulfill yourself with moral and spiritual thinking, spiritual uh, better feelings. And yeah, that's the lesson I could take out of this this subject from the chapter 25th. And I was wondering if any of you would like to add some comments or put some thoughts on it.
I want. I was waiting for anybody else to do it. Can you come back to the second or the third slide, please?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the fastest way to do it, but I'm doing like this.
Okay, the second one, the other one, another one. The second one, the other after this one.
Okay, the first of the presentation. Okay, gotcha. This one then, right?
No, after Jesus lessons. No, not before, after. One more, one more. There you go. In my opinion, I believe this chapter you can summarize in this phrase: observe the birds in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it, because we are talking about here simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need much to live, and you don't need much to be happy in terms of material things. Then it's going to lead us to understand the spirit things as well. Of course, we live in a world, and especially right now, as you can see here in America at least, how people behave when something in their minds threaten them. And as you could see, it's a small example, but still, for some people, it was a problem when you can see, go to the groceries and you can find things, basic things. And you're thinking about as society and help each other, you ended up in one conclusion, that if we share, if we think in everybody, we're going to have enough for everybody. Of course, if you go deep in this matter and you're thinking about other countries that suffer for poverty and those kind of things, but still other countries can help them, as some of the countries do. The example as like some countries in Africa and Brazil, as Brazilians, we know that. So when you help each other, when you're thinking about it, our neighbors and people that are in need probably have more conscience on the consume and how we spend our money, and we don't need to go far. So when you go here in downtown Las Vegas and we give water for the homeless, it's something very simple for us, right? In this hot weather, it's very hot here in Las Vegas. Today was 111. And you know that a glass of water for us, it's something that you don't even thinking about it. If you're thirsty, you just stand up, go to the sink and take the water, and that's it. And for some people that don't have this, for them is like a big deal. It's something important, because water, of course, as everybody knows, is important for us to live. And when it says observe the birds in the sky, it's because nature don't need much to go through life. And as we evolve as human beings, I'm pretty sure that we're going to end up with the same point of view. But as we can see, and I'm saying everybody at some point. So when we don't thinking about it, our neighbor, somebody close, and most of the time talking about family. But yes, in general, in the world, when we start small, we can live as the birds, as the nature. And not that I'm saying in an ecologic way, but I'm saying, do you really need that much things to live? Because as one of the slide says, the more we have, the more we want. We don't have the end. We want more and more and more to fulfill something that is empty. And what is empty is not a material thing, it's our spirit. And as we see so many people there doing small things, and normally the ones that don't have much is the ones that help the most. And you see, be rich, have money, that is not a problem. It's okay. But do you know what to do with what you have? And are you thankful enough of what you have? So I think that this entire lecture you can just summarize in this phrase: observe the birds in the sky, and that's it. And take lessons from this, of course, and do it.
Mark, would you like to add something? Any thoughts? Any comments?
Sure. So I'm on a kick lately where, and I mean by that is my focus has been somewhat narrow, looking at Spiritism for America, not Spiritism only for me, Spiritism for America. So as a lifetime Californian, I have first of all, a different perspective on America. Secondly, I've lived long enough to know that some of these ideas of Spiritism are not new. They were actually in my consciousness in the 60s as the hippies began to talk about peace and love and so on. And the Maharishi became very popular with a number of principles for living, built around the golden rule, if for nothing better, you know. Well, and my point in saying this is that as a society, American society is accustomed to many things that are absolutely abnormal. You know, instant gratification manifests itself in so many different ways. You know, when I think about business professionals, so imagine the business professionals who are accustomed to working in business buildings, high rises, maybe 2-3 stories or maybe 60-70 stories, whatever. Every day they get up and their appearance is critical. And their clothes and their hair and their shoes and everything walks out the door with $3, $5, $1,500 worth of accessories. And they've got a closet full of them that have now been sitting for 6 months. And I can't tell you how many people I've heard say, what am I supposed to do with these clothes? I'll never wear them again. and it's interesting to ask, why would you never wear them again? Well, first of all, a lot of people will say they're out of style. In 6 months, they're out of style. And some people will say, I don't fit them anymore, which is one of the true impacts of the pandemic and quarantine. And number 3, they don't need them anymore. Here comes the birds. Now people have learned that yoga pants and blue jeans are just fine. If I even get dressed out of my pajamas or shorts, that's an amazing achievement. If I take a shower every day, that's an amazing achievement. Women are not putting on makeup. Women are not coloring their hair. Women are not wearing jewelry or mascara or eyeliner. Some, not all, but now to a male, I always felt a lot of that was way over superficial. But the truth is, Americans are Americans. We are greedy. We have been accustomed to feeding ourselves sumptuously. There's no such thing as one time through the food line. We gouge ourselves with anything and everything. We have storage units because we can't keep it all in our house, and so on and so on. 2 cars, not one, you know. And Americans are learning you don't have to be that way. And so this lesson today very much appeals to me. It's what I just said is kind of only the start. This is more the vision. You know, interesting to think about the day where I've not planned for the food that I'm going to eat tomorrow. It's not in my refrigerator. It's not in my cupboard. I'll get up and I'll go shopping or go picking the food I'm going to eat that day, or fishing for it, or whatever. You know, that's an interesting concept.
It is. I think like I said in the beginning, I think this subject is more modern than we think of. You know, this is so much is going on right now. And then and this was written how many years ago, but this is that's the example we are living, or actually that's the example it's here for us to start thinking and start living like that, observing the birds in the sky.
So Mark, when you were talking about the closets and everything, so Eloy and I, we are professional organizers. We have a business on this. Yeah. And you help people to declare, to organize their homes. And what you said, it's so real.
Oh, I know.
You have no idea. Well, when you are out there on the field and you see, of course, don't judge, you know, we have the clients and you're trying to show them the best way, but by the end of the day, they decide what to do. And yes, it's sometimes, when you start thinking about it, the consume behavior from all of us, not only the Americans, but from all of us, it's something that is concerned me a lot.
Well, I said in the last month, 3 weeks, a month, I've had this focus on the new American Spiritist. I'm one of them, 2 years new. And how I would communicate to others and guide them or progress alongside of them. If there was a friend of mine or somebody I met that I was going to, you know, introduce to Spiritism. And so in the principles of living, what I have heard this month, and in this moment, it really speaks very loudly to me, is that the root of all evil is pride and ego. And the truth of the matter is the American mindset for consumerism is all about pride and ego. What makes me feel good, what compares me to others, what is better than others, what is a class status statement, even the lowest of class statements. You know, it's amazing. It's just amazing. If you're that Wall Street executive, you got to be wearing Pierre Cardin, but only 1 day a week. And if you're from the ghetto in New York, you got to wear your Air Jordans. They can have holes in them, but you got to wear your Air Jordans. You know, the culture is all about pride and ego.
Yeah, and there's also now the social media, which emphasize all these things as well.
Absolutely.
And the worst, they're not real. That's
No,
not real life.
it's all false. It's all false.
It's
And
all
you,
false. And people fall for this, be depressive, starting buying more and more and more to fulfill something that they don't have. And Eloa knows, like most of the examples that we have when you see people, let's put the example of the closet again. When you see people with those 1,000 pieces of clothes in a closet, because this is possible, trust me, they, you can see that they are alone, or they are sad, or it's something that it's missing their lives. I'm not saying they're the bad person or not, but it's our behaviors out there, and I mean consume behaviors as well, is just a reflection of who we are.
you know, I have a personal experience many years ago. I'll be very quick. My best friend, lifetime best friend, and still is, his sister committed suicide. She had drug and alcohol problems for many, many years, psychological problems and so on. But she committed suicide. And the sad part about that is that to assist my friend, he had to clean out her house. Well, she had become a hoarder and an online purchaser. And her house was wall to wall, not even opened, boxes of merchandise. It was the most amazing experience. It's something that stays with you forever. And of course, it's wrapped around the sadness of this girl I knew as a girl, my best friend's sister, a year older. She committed suicide. How sad. Well, of course, that has a completely different perspective for me today, because I now understand suicide in a whole new different way, and I only understand this much of it. You know? But I think my point here is that, again, we have a society in America, and it's true in other parts of the country, of the world as well. It's consumer mindset, and in this country, you know, the economy has facilitated greed, selfishness, pride, ego.
So true. As society, we still have to learn a lot of things. As human beings, of course, and as society, because we're part of the society, we still have to learn a lot of things. But that is the good thing. At least we still started having the knowledge of from the spirits, and to understand that's much more than material things, and not say just material things that you buy, but much more than this world, much more than this. I think that was like, which, you know, like give me peace in my heart.
Well, I want to close with one other thing. 22 years ago, I think it was, California voted in the lottery. And the whole premise of California voters voted in the lottery because they had to support the education system. And all this money was supposed to flow through education. Well, you know, everybody immediately got lotto fever. And now you have all the lottos that go across the country and so on and so on. And people still have lotto fever. But during the pandemic, it's fallen off dramatically. It has fallen off dramatically. And for me personally, I asked myself just this week, gosh, if I were to even buy a ticket, and oh my gosh, if I were to win, what would I do? And the first thing I realized is the wish list before, it's gone. I don't need the Porsche. I don't need the house in Hawaii, you know, and so on and so on. And the more I thought about it, it you know, it was real quick thought, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But I thought, oh, I'll send Divaldo $1 million. Oh, I'll send Vanessa $1 million. Go crazy, please, you know. Anyway, fantasy time.
All right, I think we are pretty much finished with this subject. Sueli, you're gonna bless the waters, or
The Spirit's will.
Yeah, of course. But like, you want to do it then?
Want to pray? Yeah, I
Yeah.
can do that.
Okay.
No problem. And so next week, the study of the Spirit book. All right. So one more time, let's close our eyes and embrace this moment with our heart, our spirits, our thoughts. And as we learned today, that we could have this amazing lecture about lives the way that we can feel simplicity in our hearts. Let's be grateful for everything that we have. Everything that we have in this moment. Let's be grateful. Let's be grateful for the day, for our house, for our comfort bed, for our friends, family, our health, our roof, for the food, for the life that we have, for every single thing that we achieved in life so far. And as we can see, we have a lot of things to be grateful for, to be thankful for. So let's put your thoughts in the Creator, in the God. Let's put your thoughts in our big brother, Jesus Christ, and all the workers, the Spirit's workers that come to us to help us to continue doing the right thing, even when sometimes it's very hard to do the right thing. And as we receive so much, let's put our hearts, our energy, our good vibration, and thinking about all those people that is still in the dark, that the ignorance go over and over their thoughts, the behavior, the actions, and they can see. Let's ask how this good spirit should go in the hospitals, in the field of wars. Let's ask all the good spirits bring peace, light to the hearts that are suffering right now because of a family, a part of member in the family that just passed away, or because they don't have food on the table, they don't have clean water to drink, they don't have a roof above their heads. Let's think about all those brothers and sisters in need and pray for them. Give our energy, our thoughts. And let's put our thoughts in all the people, the governments, for each country, for each place in this globe, that they have the power to change things. Let's think about them and pray for them. And pray for all the spirits to help them to do the right choice in these difficult moments. And we know that we are in the path of the progress, but we need to change in order to see the change that we seek for. Let's ask for the bless to our friends, family, neighbors, our house, and especially for us and our hearts. and have a wonderful and amazing night and a beautiful week. And so be it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Louisa. Thank you, Eloa.
Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful.
See you next week.
Okay, good night.
See you next
Good
week.
night. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.